Up, everybody? It's a no save. Just checked out UFC 301, and after the fights I saw tonight, figured we'd go over some of them, figure out what's next for everybody. The first fight, at least we're going over the main card mainly. Chao Bovino, I've been mispronouncing names, I'm always do, especially when I drink a little bit. He defeated and destroyed Paul Craig. Paul Craig had no answers. He didn't know how to use the striking game as well. As someone who's credentialed in his grappling, he hasn't fully adapted to his striking, unfortunately, even after switching gyms. But based on the events of what happened, I think he has two choices ahead of him. I think now that he took in Paul Craig's rank, most likely he was 13 in middleweight, so I think now it would be a perfect chance. If you want to go for a steady increase, you go for Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, who just had a really good victory against Kovalov, or you get him against Jack Hermanson, who embarrassed Joe Pyfer. That's someone up in rank 10, someone who he could potentially go for the belt for, someone that'd be very interesting for it. But that's my opinion at Paul Craig. I don't got much of an opinion where he should go right now. I guess just keep feeding him the cans. Next one is Michel Pereira versus Igor Potania. Igor Potania actually was a last minute thing. He's supposed to have a fight in the Saudi Arabian card coming up in June, so he jumped in this one pretty quickly. Considering he got finished pretty quickly with a backflip and then he got choked out with a standing guillotine, he might be able to come back soon, hopefully. But if not, I can say this right now, Michel Pereira, with the kind of win streak we're seeing right now, I mean, his last loss, all the way, Diego Sanchez, an illegal one. We want to talk about his last legitimate loss was in 2019 against Tristan Colony, which no one's gonna know who the fuck that is. But yeah, he's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 win streak now. 8 win streak. And this guy's the guy who's been fighting kind of for a welterweight, and then he's been ever since he's gone to middleweight, he's become a new beast. He's subbing and knocking people out. Mostly subbing people recently. Who would I give Michel Pereira to, however? That's a good question. I think... Kyle Bueno, who just won his fight, polar opposite, kind of, but a guy who's up in the rankings, not too high up, that's someone you can give if you want to give Michel Pereira up in competition, if you get him into rankings, because I think he deserves it. Another situation, somewhat similar, just like you could give him Anthony Hernandez. I personally can put him all the way up to Jack Hermanson, or even Roman Deliz, honestly. You give him anybody. Chris Curtis, I want to say, the only reason I don't mention Chris Curtis' name is because he's injured right now after his last fight against Brendan Allen, so we gotta rule him out. Paul Craig just took a beating. Do you want to die again? And Shamaev is always a weird one. He's facing Bobby Knuckles coming up in the Saudi Arabia card, so he's out. So really, you just give him one of those two. That's if you want him to go for that in middleweight. If you want to talk about middleweight fights in itself, honestly, you're running out of choices, people. I mean, if you want to go for someone who's lost but you want to prove himself, you give him someone like Joe Pyfer. I mean, if you really want to go something crazy, you give him someone like Bo Nickel, who's not quite up there in ranking yet, but it's up in competition. A little insane, I know what you're thinking, but it's like, why would you do that? Or he just defeated a Brazilian, we give him Chris Weidman. Seems all cruel. These are all honestly choices with a lot of choices. I couldn't really be fed up to. I couldn't really give you the best idea for him because Michel Pereira, I don't know where they're doing with him rank-wise. He has 8 victories right now. He should be higher ranked in either of these divisions, but he's not for some reason. I think pulling off the Wonder Boy fight damaged him a little bit, but ever since he's kind of redeemed himself, he's getting these finishes off. His last fight before this was in March. He can do at least 1 or 2 more cards in a year, and he gets 3 to 4 more finishes going on this year, he will potentially be the fight of the year. Next fight. This is the fight I did not see coming for many reasons. Anthony Smith exposed Victor Porcino, and Porcino did the dumbest thing he could possibly... When he got into a situation with a choke, what happened, basically, and I saw this the night of the guillotine chokes for part of the card, the way he just gave up, didn't even try fighting for it. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't like Anthony Smith, but I did put him in one of my parlays because I had a feeling Porcino was just too green. There was not much to tell. I thought Smith had it was over for him if he lost this one, because I feel like there was a chance he could win, and by all intents and purposes, he did win. Now, Anthony Smith, however, his ranking is currently in a spot that's not great, but not horrible either, if you really think about it. I mean, really, Anthony Smith right now, I mean, he's like literally ranked 10. He's faced almost everybody is the problem. You can't justify anyone downwards, but upwards, I mean, you could give him Volkan Ozdemir, I guess. You could give him. Here's the problem. I can't discuss most of the people to give to him because honestly, he's fought them and lost or something. I'll say this though: if you really want to give Pereira a really short turnaround into a pay-per-view card in the future, and he seriously has no one to fight for whatever reason, give him Max Pereira. Let Pereira beat the shit out of him. But other than that, there's really not many people you can go upwards. Maybe Nikita Krylov may be the best one right now because he's already took it out. He already fought Johnny Walker and Kirill Valentry. Maybe Volkan Ozdemir, but he really ain't gonna get much out of Anthony Smith. Now, the next fight, Jose Aldo, honestly, it's a one-off. I don't think he's coming back afterwards. If he is coming back, you give him his original opponent. You give him Dominic Cruz. You let that fight go on. 2 legends fight off. If you don't, another option, Davison Figueiredo, who just won in UFC 300. Another Brazilian, another ex-champion. You put champion versus champion, you have those 2 fight it out. Or, the chaos option, you let Sean O'Malley fight him. I'm joking, people, I'm joking. It's bad enough of how we've seen how this division's been working out. We're not going to do that. But it's an idea. I mean, Jonathan Martinez, I think Martinez was starstruck. He didn't do his typical aggressive style in there. He went more for one punches than multiple combinations. I think the moment caught up to him and he couldn't pull the trigger, unlike some of the other fighters we've seen that idolize their legends. But that's what it seemed to me happened. Now, the main event, that was semi-competitive. It was a decent fight. Seabury, even though he's ranked 10, he became pretty close to beating him in some circumstances. He screwed it up in round 5, however, going to potentially 2 out of 2 in the fight for how people were seeing it, and he went for a takedown, and for me that was a big no-no because he got reversed very quickly, and Pantoja survived 2 out of 3 cards that wrote it 48-47, which tells you if he would have just done the right thing and cruised to a decision by any means but going to the ground, we would have been seeing a new champion tonight. And that's just how it looks like to me. Now, who do you give Pantoja? He's running out of options. If you really do a list out there of all the people he's almost fought everyone in the top 10 is the problem. Cape would be fun if he doesn't pull out every single damn fight. Honestly, there's only 2 people I would put in this fight right now here. Amir Albazi, he's out right now with injury. When he comes back, he's the rightful person. If you can't get him rightfully in time, you give Muhammad Mukayev. That man deserves the title shot just as much. He's had a really good streak going on. I think both of those would be good fights for Pantoja. Can Pantoja get through them? Probably. But honestly, if he beats those 2 people, there's no one left. I think the only other person the last person he fought was, what's his name? I don't know if he's in the UFC. Ankalov? Uvanov? It's another one of those Russian names. You know what? Either way, look it up. I can click on his damn name real quick. He lost the fight to him. It's been a bit. I'm trying to remember who he faced. That's his name. Askar Askarov. I don't know if he's in the UFC still. I know his last fight was Cara France. I think he's injured potentially right now. I think they took him out of the rankings, even though I don't know what happened to that man. Does anyone else have an idea? I know I'm talking to random people like I'm live. Well, let's look real quick. He was granted a release to deal with his health issues. There's your answer. So he hasn't been around. They'll just show you. With a larger roster like this, you can get your place with it. Steve Carell did so well. I can't tell you who to fight next. You're ranked 10. You got a long way to go through many people. But you proved that you can hang with the best. I really don't have much else to opinion-wise. All I can say is there were a couple of fun fights on the prelims. Not many. Everyone watch out for Joanna Brito versus, what he did to Jack Shore was messed up. He clinched him, he messed his leg up. They had to do a doctor stoppage around the second round because I swear they had a bone was sticking out. The guy's leg was bleeding from all the bruising he took. The worst beating I've ever seen other than a snap leg. Other than that, honestly, most of the card was decision. Oh, do check out, there is one person I'll put on an MVP list. He was in the early prelims. Mosirio Rufi. I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm terrible at this. I'm dumb American. Forgive me. He did some horrible things to Jamie Malarkey. He destroyed that man with a KO. Check him out. It was worth it. Other than that, as a card that was not expected to be good, it was decent. It was a glorified fight night, if you ask me. Most of the main card was better than the main event itself. But you know what? Can't complain. We're gonna get these cards. Good news, all the cards coming up are gonna be much more awesome. But for now, that was me partially grading 301 and giving you an idea of what's up next. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.